Around 3 million years ago, our ancestors took their first steps here, in a land forged by fire and torn apart by the very earth itself. From this primordial chaos, a nation unlike any other was born. Towering obelisks still stand as silent sentinels guarding the heart of an ancient empire. Here, man and beast share an unspoken bond, and faith is literally etched into the planet, where churches are carved downward into solid rock, while others cling to precarious cliffs that no human should reach. This is a land of impossible landscapes and enduring spirits. This is Ethiopia, the cradle of our past and the birthplace of humanity. We begin our journey in the Afar Triangle, a jagged geological scar that is clearly visible even from the edges of space. This is a geological battlefield where 3 massive tectonic plates are currently engaged in a violent and slow-motion divorce. As these plates pull apart, the ground sinks and the crust thins, exposing the raw and terrifying power of the mantle below. It is the northern anchor of the Great Rift Valley, a place where our planet is literally tearing itself into pieces. In the distant future, the sea will rush in to claim this valley, eventually birthing a brand new and vast ocean. But for now, it remains a sun-bleached theater of primal creation, where the foundations of our world are being rewritten daily. Descending further, we enter the Danakil Depression, a surreal basin lying more than 100 meters below the level of the sea. This is the hottest inhabited place on Earth, a shimmering wasteland where the heavy air often feels like a physical weight. In the Dalal geothermal field, the Earth bleeds neon yellows and toxic greens, formed by boiling brine and acidic springs. While it looks like an alien world, this landscape is deeply tied to the long and difficult history of human survival. For centuries, the Afar people have braved this furnace to mine white gold from the parched and ancient crust of Earth. The horizon is nothing but a dance of heat mirages and ancient, unyielding traditions that have simply refused to wither away. Finally, we reach the smoking mountain known as Erta Ale, a shield volcano that hides one of the world's only lava lakes. Known by locals as the Gate to Hell, its surface is a shifting mosaic of cooling black plates and red molten rock. To stand on its rim is to hear the earth breathe, a rhythmic and terrifying roar of gas and liquid flame. These fires of creation never sleep, fueling the spirit of this indomitable and truly ancient land beneath our very feet. But as we leave the scorching abyss and ascend toward the clouds, the fire of the lowlands gives way to emerald peaks. In these highlands, evolution has taken a very different path, creating a vibrant world unlike anything else on our planet today. High on the Seneti Plateau, a flash of tawny red cuts through the freezing mist of the high-altitude wilderness. This is the Ethiopian wolf, the rarest canid on Earth and the only wolf species found on the African continent. These specialized solitary hunters stalk giant mole rats in the thin air, thousands of meters above the world we know. With fewer than 500 individuals remaining, their survival is a delicate dance on the very edge of extinction today. They are silent sentinels of the peaks, guarding high-altitude islands where evolution has stood still for many thousands of years. Across the precipitous edges of the Simian Mountains, thousands of Gelada monkeys gather in massive and highly vocal societies. They are unique as the only primates that are primary grazers, plucking blades of grass with their nimble, human-like fingers. Their chests bear a distinctive hourglass of bare, crimson skin, serving as a vivid signal of status and deep emotion. As the sun dips below the horizon, they perform a graceful descent down sheer vertical cliffs to find safe shelter. They sleep on narrow, precarious ledges, far from the reach of predators that hunt in the darkness of the highlands. Watching a golden-maned army of Geladas move together is a social spectacle found nowhere else but on these Ethiopian ramparts. Their complex vocalizations and intricate grooming rituals reveal a social sophistication that closely rivals our own ancient human roots. These primates echo the primitive rhythms of communal life, flourishing in a kingdom built upon the clouds and the cliffs. The Simian Mountains are a fortress of basalt, a jagged labyrinth of deep gorges and towering plateaus above the clouds. Clinging to the impossible verticality of the escarpment is the Walia ibex, a species found nowhere else on our planet. These mountain goats are masters of gravity, navigating crumbling rock ledges with a confidence that consistently defies the threat of death. Their massive, ridged horns sweep back like scimitars against the sky, serving as a national symbol of Ethiopian resilience. To see them silhouetted against the morning mist of the Simian Scarp is to see the highland spirit personified. These mountains are a biological sanctuary, where the rarest of the rare have retreated to the safety of the clouds. In this thin air, life does not just survive, it reigns supreme over a kingdom of emerald peaks and abysses. When nature finished writing its epic of survival in the clouds, the people of Ethiopia took over the story. They began carving their own immortal legends and deep faith into the very heart of these ancient, towering mountains. In the dusty plains of the north, towering granite monoliths point toward the heavens, marking the heart of the Aksumite Empire. Once ranked alongside Rome, Persia, and China, this was one of the four great and powerful empires of the ancient world. Aksum was a maritime crossroads where incense, gold, and ivory flowed freely between the vast Mediterranean and the exotic Orient. It was here that Ethiopia embraced Christianity in the 4th century, becoming one of the oldest Christian nations on our planet. Legend even whispers that the biblical Ark of the Covenant rests here, guarded by silent monks in a chapel of stone. Aksum's legacy is written in these massive monoliths, a testament to a civilization that once shaped the history of the world. When the road to Jerusalem was cut off by war, King Lalibela sought to build a new Jerusalem in the highlands. But he did not build upward. Instead, he carved downward into the very foundations of the ancient and volcanic earth. The result is 11 monolithic churches, each hewn from a single, seamless block of living and solid volcanic basalt rock. At Beit Georgis, the earth is cut into a perfect cross, plunging 12 meters deep into the dark and ancient bedrock. In these structures, there are no bricks, no mortar, and absolutely no room for error during the entire construction process. Walking through these subterranean tunnels is a journey into a world of shadowed mysticism and flickering golden candlelight in the dark. These are prayers etched into the planet, where the rhythmic chanting of priests has echoed for 8 long and faithful centuries. In the Tigray region, the monastery of Abuna Yamatagu clings to a vertical sandstone spire high above the valley floor. To reach it, the faithful must scale a sheer rock face using only handholds worn smooth by many centuries of pilgrims. There are no safety ropes here, and one single slip on the vertical rock means certain death for the brave climber. Inside the cave-like sanctuary, the air remains cool, preserving 5th century frescoes that are as vibrant as their very first day. Here, the boundary between the earthly world and the divine becomes paper-thin at these extreme and terrifyingly beautiful mountain heights. It is a place of deadly faith, where the courage of the climb represents the ultimate endurance of the Ethiopian spirit. In Gondar, the Camelot of Africa, massive stone castles tell stories of powerful and legendary 17th century Ethiopian royal emperors. But the soul of this city truly awakens during Timkat, the spectacular feast of Epiphany that celebrates the baptism of Christ. Once a year, the ancient facilities bath is filled with holy water, and thousands of pilgrims dressed in white plunge in. This is a sensory explosion of blue robes, golden umbrellas, and ancient chants echoing through the royal and historical city. In Gondar, history is a living celebration that bridges the gap between royal majesty and modern, everyday religious devotion. If these stone cathedrals reflect a connection to the divine, moving south reveals a different kind of ancient and earthly sacredness. The Omo Valley is a place defined by the ancient rhythms of tribal life and art painted on the human skin. Deep in the southern wilderness, the Omo River winds through a land where time seems to have stalled for centuries. Here, the Hamar people practice one of Africa's most daring rites of passage, which is known as the bull jumping. To earn the right to marry, a youth must leap onto the backs of several cattle lined in a row. The young man must run across the animals 4 times without falling to prove his balance and his bravery. Surrounding him, the women dance and sing, their copper-colored hair braided with a mixture of butter and red ochre. This ritual is a sacred bond between a man, his family, and the livestock that sustain their daily life. On the high banks overlooking the river, the Karo tribe turn the human body into a beautiful and living canvas. Using white lime and red iron ore, they paint intricate patterns that mimic the plumage of wild African birds. For the Karo people, body art is a profound language used to express their unique identity and social status. These temporary masterpieces are washed away and repainted frequently, representing a culture that finds beauty in the earth itself. Every stroke of clay is a tribute to the natural harmony they have carefully maintained for many long centuries. Among the rugged Suri people, manhood is forged in the donga, which is a fierce and traditional stick-fighting match. Armed with long wooden poles, young warriors clash in a whirlwind of dust to prove their incredible martial skill. Scars earned in the donga are worn as permanent badges of honor, proving a warrior's resilience to the community. Their life is a balance between the beauty of elaborate lip plates and the discipline required to protect herds. The donga remains the heartbeat of a people who are fiercely independent and unconquered by the modern world. This fierce spirit of independence found in the Omo Valley is far more than just a simple tribal trait. It is a national identity that once shook the foundations of European colonialism and changed the course of history. In 1896, on the rugged hills of Adwa, a modern miracle occurred as Africa was carved by colonial powers. Emperor Menelik II and Empress Tetu Betul gathered a massive army of thousands from every corner of the country. Armed with a mix of ancient spears and modern rifles, they stood ready to face the invading Italian army. In a stunning display of unity and tactical genius, the Ethiopian forces completely annihilated the invading colonial army. The victory at Adwa did more than preserve sovereignty. It shattered the long-standing myth of European invincibility in Africa. It became a beacon of hope for Black people worldwide, establishing Ethiopia as the only African nation never colonized. Decades later, a new icon emerged, Emperor Haile Selassie I, famously known as the legendary Lion of Judah. As a visionary leader, he became a founding father of the Organization of African Unity and the face of Pan-Africanism. In the distant Caribbean, his royal coronation in 1930 sparked a spiritual revolution that echoed across the Atlantic. For the Rastafari movement, Selassie was a messianic figure who would lead the diaspora back to the Promised Land. To this day, the red, gold, and green of the Ethiopian flag remain universal colors of freedom and identity. Selassie's legacy lives on, cementing Ethiopia's place as the spiritual homeland for millions of people across the entire globe. It is a power inherited from our ancient ancestors, the very first humans to ever walk upon this earth. Deep within the sun-scorched sediments of the Afar region, Ethiopia holds the most precious archive of our very existence. In 1974, the world was stunned by the discovery of Lucy, a 3.2-million-year-old ancestor found here. Her remarkably preserved skeleton provided the smoking gun of evolution, proving our ancestors walked upright long before mastering tools. The discovery of Ardi, dating back 4.4 million years, pushed our lineage even further into the mists of time. These ancient remains effectively rewrote the timeline of the human journey, revealing our deepest biological roots in Ethiopian soil. These fossils are far more than scientific curiosities. They are silent witnesses to our transition from forests to savannas. Ethiopia is the biological Eden where the first sparks of human curiosity and consciousness were ignited millions of years ago. It is the ancient laboratory where nature perfected the bipedal stride that would eventually take us to the moon. Whether you live in New York, Tokyo, or London, your biological journey began in this very dust of Ethiopia. We are all children of this land, making Ethiopia more than a destination. It is a homecoming for everyone. Yet, from these ancient roots of survival, Ethiopia has grown to offer the modern world more than just history. It has given us the very flavors and rhythms that define our modern lives in the world today. Every morning, billions of people wake up to a gift that originated in the lush and mist-covered Ethiopian highlands. Legend tells of a goat herder named Kaldi who first discovered the energizing power of these wild red berries. In Ethiopia, coffee or buna is far more than a caffeine fix. It is a sacred and deeply social soul. The traditional coffee ceremony is a multi-sensory ritual that begins with the roasting of green beans over hot charcoal. A thick, nutty aroma is released, mingling perfectly with the sweet and ancient scent of burning frankincense. Poured from a clay pot called a jabena, the coffee is served in 3 rounds of friendship and blessing. From these forests, coffee conquered the world, becoming a global catalyst for conversation, creativity, and deep human connection. Beyond the coffee hills lie the bustling markets of Addis Ababa and Harar, the heart of ancient regional trade. Here, The air is thick with the pungent, fiery scent of berbere, aromatic cardamom, and spicy cloves. For 1,000 years, Anhung vibrant hubs have connected the highlands to the Silk Road and the Indian Ocean. It is a symphony of commerce where ancient merchant traditions still pulse through the veins of the modern economy. In the thin air of the high-altitude plateaus, Ethiopia breeds a different kind of legend, the greatest long-distance runners. From Abebe Bikila, who won the marathon barefoot, to the dominance of Haile Gebrselassie, they rewrote every world record. Their secret lies in lungs of steel forged by the mountains and a national culture of relentless endurance. Their rhythmic, unstoppable stride has become a metaphor for the nation itself, a country that never tires of moving forward. Ethiopia continues to race ahead at a pace that the rest of the world often struggles to match today. This momentum is not just found on the running tracks, it is transforming the very skyline of the nation. Ethiopia is building toward a new horizon, leaving its ancient roots to embrace a bold and modern future. Addis Ababa, meaning new flower, is blooming into the diplomatic and economic heart of the entire African continent today. As the seat of the African Union, it is a city where futuristic glass skyscrapers now shadow ancient stone cathedrals. Below the construction cranes, Africa's first modern light rail glides through bustling districts, symbolizing a nation in a hurry. It is a vibrant melting pot of 80 ethnic groups, an urban heartbeat where ancient history and high-tech ambition collide. Addis Ababa is no longer just a gateway. It has become the chief architect of Africa's bold and urban future. While the skyline rises, Ethiopia is also healing its earth through the staggering and ambitious Green Legacy National Initiative. In a single day, millions of citizens planted over 350 million trees, shattering every previous world record. This is a vital mission to restore the lush and emerald landscapes that our ancestors once roamed millions of years ago. By rooting its future in the soil, Ethiopia proves that progress can go hand in hand with the protection of our planet. It is a green revolution, a promise to future generations that the birthplace of humanity will remain a vibrant garden. Humanity's first steps were taken here, in the blistering heat of the Afar Triangle, 3 million long years ago. Since then, empires have risen and fallen, and invaders came and left while the world changed completely beyond all recognition. Throughout it all, Ethiopia remained unbowed and unique, a fiercely independent nation that stood the test of time and history. This is a land that guards the deepest secrets of our past while forging the keys to our future. From the burning lava lakes of Danakil to the glass towers of Addis Ababa, the spirit of this nation remains resilient. It is a spirit as strong and enduring as the ancient rock from which its greatest monuments were once carved. And now, Ethiopia's gaze is fixed firmly forward toward a future it is building with its very own hands. Because here, in the birthplace of humanity, every ending is simply the beginning of a brand new journey.